Obviously, you must have great memories from being around, and that's how I remember you. It was weird sort of seeing you as a kid and then come to Penrith, you shot up so much. But we'll talk about your experience at the Warriors. What was that like?
But I loved it. Like I was such a diehard Warriors fan growing up, like just around school, and obviously Dad was coaching there and he played there as well. But like that was the start of rugby league for me. Like just following the Warriors and how much it meant to people over there when they were going well. So I could only imagine what it's like over there at the moment. It'd be rocking. Like it was really cool. And I was obviously in a lucky position where with Dad being involved, like I could sort of be involved as well. I remember school holidays, like I'd go down, like hang around training, like goal kicking that. And I just honestly thought it was the best thing ever. Like I just frothed rugby league, but I frothed the Warriors at the time too. And just being able to be around sort of NRL players and all that, it seemed so far away from me at the time. But, I thought it was just a good introduction.
Yeah. I love storylines and anything. I don't think there's a better storyline than that this year with Penrith coming up against the Warriors. Obviously, you were assistant coach there. You looked up to Shaun Johnson growing up?
Yeah, he was my favourite. Like I remember,
I think he's everyone's favourite.
Yeah, I just remember him like just coming onto the scene and like he was just a freak. Like, and I think I looked up to him mainly because he could do things that I couldn't do. So it was sort of like that sort of awe factor that he had about him. And I remember being at training one day, me and my little brother Jet. And he sort of just like dapped us up walking past. And I was like, this is mad.
No, he's trying to get a start. He's trying to get a start in the starting lineup. That's what it is.
It was just cool, bro. And those are things that you don't forget. And now like being able to verse him a couple of times, it's pretty crazy. I remember the first time I versed him, I was like 18, got a photo with him after the game.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, bro, it's just crazy looking back.
You got a hat trick on him too, didn't you?
Nah. He won in Golden Point that game.
Oh,
actually.
did he?
Yeah. So yeah, looking back on that, like, you don't really get much time to reflect as you're going. You just sort of like take it as it comes. But there's sort of things like moments like this or like at the end of your career you can look back on and be, pretty proud of, but also they're just cool moments. And
yeah, I think about your dad a lot, and I think about him in a situation where like he was at the Warriors 01, the boys went to the final, he coached him in 11, got done by Manly. Potentially he could be the coach that faces him in the grand final now. Like I always think of storylines like that. So
yeah,
that'd be cool.
It would be mad. And like Webby going over there doing such a good job. Like I think he was the guy for us that was just so, I guess, underappreciated outside of our club, like through the media. Like there was a lot of talk obviously about Ciro, who's a great coach. Yeah, 100% deserves it. And like had a lot to do with all of us coming through and, just absolute legend. But Webby was sort of like not talked about as much. So we're like Baz beforehand, like, again, did a lot for us, but he was sort of talked about in the media and, like, spoken about a lot where Webby was just flying under the radar, just doing his own thing, but contributed so much to our success. And he's shown that now. Like, he's gotten a head coaching role and people probably underestimate him a bit, but he's gone over there and done such a good job.
To be fair, he didn't have the roster that Bulldogs have got too. So, like, to take the Wars from sort of where they were to where they are must be crazy. What makes him so good?
I think they've just found out, like, what works for them. I think... Obviously, Shaun Johnson's just about in career best form, like he's on fire. But people like Tohu Harris as well through the middle, like he reminds me a lot of what sort of Yoey's doing for us. He's a great ball player and sort of distributing and takes a lot of pressure off Shaun as well, I think. And then they've just found a good balance in their team of what works. They play the long game too, kick to corners, and and their defense too. Like I think that's probably the biggest thing. I think in the past...
Never been known for that.
Well, you look at Warriors teams in the past, it's always their like flair and like X factor where now they're sort of back in their defense and it's they're doing it for long periods of time too.